when we start this dialogue, I'd like to open it up to everybody to start to hear from you and hear what's coming up for you. And I hope to set you on a path of beginning to tweak a little bit and help you begin to shift and release the blocks of the presence of love within you, so that you begin to start to reprogram your belief systems and start to miraculously shift your thought forms, so that you can start to experience a more miracle-minded way of being. And the more we practice forgiveness, and the more we release our judgment, and the more we let go of that separation and that specialness that we place upon others, which I'll get into once we start talking about relationships. Anyone that brings it up, I'll tell you. The more that we start practicing these spiritual principles, the more miracles we experience. So this is the fear of greatness, right? Our fear of greatness. And our fear of stepping into what we can truly receive and what we have the capacity to receive. And this is a big ego one, right? So even if we intuitively know we are worthy, we intuitively know that we can have the capacity to earn a lot, the ego is going to cut us down and cut us up at our knees and say, who are you to be great? No way, nice try. And what happened for me when I started to recognize that I was seeing books getting picked up and people asking me, my lecture audience is growing, and I started to see a lot of great things happening around me, my ego came in real hard and said, who are you to be great? Nice try, sister, take a seat, right? And I knew better spiritually, just like you do, because you brought it up, that was not the abundant, miracle-minded way of being. And so I really got still about it and I listened. And what I came to understand is, as Marianne would say, God doesn't want you to be broke. And that there's nothing spiritual about poverty, there's nothing spiritual about lack. And that when we have gifts to give to the world, we must be unapologetic about all the support, financial support, emotional support, physical support. We must be unapologetic about all the support that we need to have come into our lives so that we can do the work that we can do, and so that we can give and share the gifts we have to share with the world. And when we get that, and we recognize this life is not about me, I am here and I'm ready and I'm willing and I'm able to receive all the financial support, all of the help that I need, that's when we can really release all those blocks and let the floodgates open. When I got that, when I said, okay, I want this fantastic publicist that I have with me here, and an incredible publishing company to take on my books, and I welcome abundance because I recognize that abundance is reinvested in my spiritual practice, it's reinvested in my physical being, it's reinvested in my work, which is to travel to countries like this, and be able to put myself up in a hotel, and be able to come and do talks in areas where otherwise, if I was broke, I wouldn't be here. This is the reality, right? If I've got work to do, I expect that God will show up and give me all that I need to do that work. And I hope you can get to that same heart-centered place, that you are here to be of high service to the world, and you must be unapologetic about what it is that you need to be able to provide that service with a lot of grace and a lot of love and really cute shoes. Okay, so I'm glad you brought it up because this is really a big part of all of my talks, which we must address. Like I said earlier, forgiveness is the bedrock of a spiritual practice, and we must be really focused on the fact that forgiveness is the experience of forgiveness is the miracle. And it's very hard for our ego mind to forgive, because our ego mind thinks, well, I need to stay angry in order to protect myself. But inevitably, you're only harming yourself more. Of course, the miracle says that you recognize I am the secret murderer. It's like you got the gun out here, but really the gun's like this, right? Because that experience of just replaying that negativity over and over and over in all of your life's experiences is literally like taking that bat and hitting yourself over the head with it. Or as they say in 12-step programs, it's like carrying a resentment, it's like drinking poison. And so when we get hooked into that experience, the first step in my forgiveness process is to recognize how your lack of forgiveness is negatively affecting you. Negatively affecting your relationships, negatively affecting your body, negatively affecting your health, negatively affecting all of your life's experiences. The next step in the forgiveness process is to see your part. And so a lot of people can be feeling in the victim mentality and sort of confused about, well, I have no part in this. I didn't do anything wrong, right? But we get really like the angry boxer. We're like, get out of my way, right? But really, in effect, your part often can be that you're still holding on to it. Your part can be that you've been unwilling to let it go. And the next part there, which is a really beautiful part of the forgiveness process, is to really turn it over and surrender it. Because once we have that willingness, once we look at our part, once we see how it's affecting us negatively, that's when we have the willingness to let it go. And with that willingness to let it go, that's when we give it to God. And of course, really, it's really so almost like this invisible divine intervention occurs. We can do all these years of work. People say, I've been to the ashrams, I've been to the 12 steps, and my response is, wait, what did you do today? Right? And that's my question to myself every day. I don't give a crap that I've been studying A Course in Miracles for 7 years. What did I do today? Who did I forgive today? What miracles did I perform today? What prayers did I call on today? How connected was I today? And even if I screwed up, how well did I forgive myself today? Because I screw up every day. Right? Screw up, I judge somebody, I make somebody more special, separation, right? I get hooked into an anxiety idea, forgiveness. And so the real work for you is to start practicing forgiving yourself very frequently. The Course teaches that there is no order of difficulty in miracles. So the miracle could be just as simple as you just sitting here now realizing, oh yeah, I could be of service on her future, to somebody else, in the room saying, oh, I just forgave my husband of 10 years, Whatever it is, there's an order of difficulty in miracles. Being a happy person is of high service to the world. Our thoughts, our negative thoughts, pollute the planet, and our positive thoughts uplift the planet. I was thinking about this a lot last night. I was reading the newspaper, and I was reading a lot about what's going on in Syria, and very, as we all are, just heartbroken that this is still happening today. And we all think, what power looks like. I don't have the power to heal this situation. The power we have is not only through our prayers and our positive intentions, but the power that we have is also through our awareness. The more aware we are of what is going on, the more we heighten the awareness of those who have the power to make changes. And so let's all take serious responsibility for what we choose to focus on, where we choose to spend our time. Maybe the 25 minutes that you're worrying about what your hair looks like, maybe you're reading the news and sending love to Syria. Maybe you're educating yourself on what's going on in the world, because trusting that as a collective consciousness, if we all wake up to what's going on in the world, then maybe the people in power will wake up too.